Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be covering my Romans. Now, I will warn you, none of this was set up. These guys have kind of fallen apart on their shelf, because my cat. So some of these guys might be broken, but we'll do a little overview, show you what I kind of did with them. So, with this, overall I bought, I think, 4 or 8 or 6. I'm not sure. I bought a lot of Victrix Romans because I bought a bunch when I first started out, then a year or two in. And from there, I actually ended up repainting the original ones, or at least most of them. I'm sure I still have a few before. Now, what I did was originally my Romans were actually painted as statues, bronze ones, with verdigris. And I actually I didn't like how they looked. So we're just going to cover kind of how I ended up sorting them. So I've got some command infantry over here. We're going to keep them in the back because we'll cover those guys later. Those guys are cool and I like them, but we'll cover them later. One of them's kind of sketchy. I'll explain that when I get to them. But what I did was, because these aren't actually proper Romans, like the models are Romans, but I run them as for our D&D campaign, or RPG campaign, I guess, really. I ended up making a faction known as the Varanians, which are essentially Romans, but, in fantasy. Just a sec. Maybe I should have sorted this out before. Alrighty, we'll pull that sheet of metal out of the way. So, actually, you know what? Give me one moment. Welcome back. So, here we now have what the army kind of looks like. So, you'll actually notice, if you count them, you can see I just had to do a field repair in there. You'll see I actually have less guys with pilums than gladiuses. Oh, that's actually a pilum guy. That's actually because a bunch broke, but because pilums, obviously, they're a long spear. For instance, this guy. Long spear, next to no support throughout, and these are realistic proportions, so they are smaller, so they break easy. However, because it's also Victrix, you get a billion spare parts. So if I ever wanted, I actually have a few guys too. I have some missing models. I'm going to pull them in real quick. These guys here, and I have a bunch of others too that are all kind of busted and broken. But essentially, here, let me fix my camera. There we go. You can see these guys. This guy's missing an arm. This guy's missing another arm. This guy's missing a weapon or a torch of any kind, which is actually fine because, again, like I said, Victrix gives you a ton of spare parts. So if I ever wanted to, I can just go over my entire army, repair them, really easy with spares. But what I did was for my... Oh, like even this guy's missing a base. Though I did have a base somewhere. It doesn't really matter. In short, I'll chuck that guy on the side. I'll fix him off camera. Anyway, what I did was I went with setting up my Varanians, which are the Romans, as scouts first of all. So I went with they get the crest over their shoulder. It's not practical at all. It's just to look cool and to separate them. They also get torches, short swords, and the trophy heads. They do not get any real bigger armor or anything like that, like no shield. And that just kind of to represent the scouts of the army. Then I went with people with gladiuses. Let's see, let's grab someone who's got a good pose. How about this guy? Actually, no, I don't like his shield. This guy's a really cool pose. So, they essentially they're just basic Roman infantry. They have a shield. I believe they called them scutum. A sword, gladius. They've got, just basic Lorica segmentata armor. And I always made sure all of my basic infantry are accurate. And actually, Victrix works on this themselves. It's really cool. I put the scabbards here, which is right where Victrix set them all, on the right-hand side for everyone, except for the Centurions, which I'll pull one over here, where their free spot is actually on this side, because... Oh, sorry, it's wrong. It's completely wrong. That's not a Centurion. There we go. That's a Centurion body. Well, I guess that's actually a Centurion body in a different angle. But anyway, the Centurions were allowed to wear their scabbards on the left side as opposed to the right, while the actual soldiers wore them on the right. So all of them have a scabbard on their right-hand side. which was funny because I lost a bunch of the scabbards, so I was really hunting down every single possible scabbard in my bits box for it, for them. But anyway, then there's guys with apelums. They just have spears. They also will have a gladius. Actually, what I did was this. I took everyone with... It'd be great if my phone could focus. I took everybody with a sword and cut the handle off their scabbard, but everyone with a spear. Let me try and find a good one here. Everyone with a spear kept the handle on their scabbard. But yeah, so that's just basic infantry. You don't really need to see it, just a blob of like 40 guys. Then there's the scouts here, and then what I did was I set up the commanders. And I'll show you, I also have another unit hidden, but you'll see them in a bit. So let's pull out the commanders from the back and set them up over here. And I'll just kind of pull them up as we go. Alright, I almost got them all. Sorry, Romans have a lot of commanders. So, what I did was I went with, first of all, the guys wearing the bear hats. I don't know what it is with my camera. It's not focusing at all. But either way, the bear hats. Actually, I think this guy's just one of the only ones with a bear hat. I gave this guy a bear hat. He's kind of a spare commander. This guy is an Aquilifer. He gets the Aquila. I actually just realized... Oh, no, I did paint that gray. Sorry, I thought I didn't paint the underside of his bear skin. But no, I did paint it just gray. Anyway... I'm not actually... I don't think Aquilifers are actually war bears. I thought they were more the lion ones. I built these a long time ago. Anyway, I made a first Centurion, kind of like the general of the overall Varanian army. I gave him a normal Roman head, but I ended up painting the entire face gold as if it's just a facial guard, kind of like that cavalry face mask thing we found for the Romans. I also took one of the Aquilas. First I gave him the Aquila, but I gave him another one, clipped all of it off, and then glued it into his helmet. I gave him actually one of the built-in Centurion helmets, because you actually get a bunch of helmets that are, let me pull one out. So for instance, this is the normal, it's hard to see because of my stupid camera. This is the normal crest, okay? And I'm just going to grab this to show you. So you'll see, it's hard to see, but you can see a little line right here. That's the only thing that lines up as a crest. Actually, you can see, or that differentiates it from the normal ones. This guy here still has all of his little things. You have a little thing in the middle and one on the sides. But if you actually look, these ones are built as Centurions already because they have the actual inside. I'm really sorry. I wish I could show you better. You can kind of see that inside indent. That's not on any of the other crests, because those other crests come separate to be attached for like dress Roman uniforms, while this one's an actual Centurion helmet proper. Anyway, I gave him a Centurion body and a lot of golden armor to show he's really important. Then I have just this guy holding a banner of whichever legion he's from, which is the first, obviously. This guy, I can't remember what he's called, but he's the one that carries all the trophies of the Legion, you know? I went with gold and reds and all that, and the laurel bit here's green. This was the captain of... Oh, actually, I think that's what it was. I had the captain of the spearmen of the Pelums as this lion thing. Yeah, that's a lion or a tiger. Either way, as the lion, he gets a spear and the skin. He gets the bear skin, and he's got the sword. That was why I put them separate. Couldn't remember that. This is the captain of the scouts. Funny enough, you can see super glue on his helmet. Oh, sorry, not that camera. That's because his helmet used to be one of these, but the feathers kept breaking off, and I kept gluing them on until finally I just gave up, ripped them both off, and just left them like that. I'll probably replace his head whenever I do a pass over these guys to repair them all. But either way. This guy's not wearing another. He just has the other trophy rack. He was just kind of, I had spare parts and just wanted to make one. He also is wearing Lorica Gallica, I believe it was called. The chainmail one, essentially. But yeah. We'll set him aside. I just have a Centurion officer guy here. He just has a dagger. He doesn't really even have a sword, which is kind of an oversight on my part. But he just has an arm, and this is not even a Roman arm. You can see I cut away, so it's kind of squared. It's hard to see. Again, sorry for the camera. I have this guy who's just another captain of some kind. He's got a Centurion chest, but he's got the I can't remember which helmet this is, but essentially it's a Galea, but the feathers, I can't remember why. Anyway, I have a troop musician. He gets the giant horn. I have this guy who's wearing one of the Centurion staves, but he's actually not, doesn't have a Centurion body, so, do whatever that, what you will. Then I have a proper Centurion as well, just a basic guy, not the important one like the one over there that had the Aquila. This one just has his beating stick and then a bit of animal fur. I actually have to glue a bit of that on him, or paint something on him. Anyway, and that's kind of the command. So I'm going to shove all these guys to the back. I'll sort them out afterwards on camera. But finally, I have a few others. So actually, I'm going to pause it, actually. You'll see in a second. And welcome back. Here we have my Praetorian Guard, along with the Emperor and 3 senators. We'll save them for after. So the Praetorian Guard are very simple. They have, they're the same thing as the normal Roman soldiers, but these ones that I did in real life, I'm not sure how they even looked. I'm fairly sure most people don't really know. Like, they wore archaic armor and stuff like that, but either way, my Praetorian Guard for my Veranians use purple everything except for their armor, which is painted black, and they have the golden every single little bit that's metal is gold, like all the little filigree and all that little stuff. One thing I will say, I didn't paint any of the shields beyond like the color. You might have noticed that on the other Romans. I do not have the skill to paint that. Plus, there's like 40 guys over there and another 20 guys here, along with all the command squads and all that. So yeah, either way, I just went with basic coloring. I gave them golden pilums instead, to show that they're more symbolic rather than anything. And then the others are just, same thing, but with swords. I will say, though, the Centurions I went with, this guy has a sword, and he's just kind of walking. Fun fact, I don't think these are accurate at all. That's one of the few complaints I have about the Victrix Romans, is Romans didn't have bracers like that, as far as I know. But, Anyway, and the Centurion with the spear, he gets they both have the Centurion armor. Funny enough, he has a Centurion helmet. He does not. You can actually see the difference of the crests, though. I could paint the inside of this one with the black there. This one I couldn't because it didn't have that. Anyway, he also got a shield. Oh, and I gave them both the cape, the basic one, just to look good. So, pulling back to the senators. The senators, I went with Roman spare bodies I had, covered them with green stuff. These were not great. I made these a long time ago, so I could probably make them better now. But they're okay. They're okay. Honestly, I would just buy a robed figure instead and run them as a senator. But yeah, I went with I believe these are actually corn blood reaver heads that I went with. Except for this one. This one's a flagellant from the Empire. Yeah, I got 2 of those kits, so I know that head well. The final one is actually, this is the second version. I had an original, but I ended up taking it apart because it's essentially just in Lorica segmentata and then slightly different. So what I did was this. I cut out the body of a normal legionary, like this. Cut it all out. So the legs and all that is still Roman, right? And the shoulder plates, as you can see, are Roman. I went with one of those Centurion staves, one of the ones holding it very regally, and just a Roman head, or hand. And then I went with the laurel wreath from, I believe these are Empire Horsemen. I don't know. I just bought a bunch of these online on eBay. The head, I'm fairly sure, is a Bretonian. I'm not quite sure. But the body is musculata, but not Roman musculata. It's muscle armor. From I believe it is Spartans kit that Victrix also sells. Those guys have got to rebuild, repaint, and everything. They're all chucked in a box right now. But yeah, I kept the sword. You can actually see the string. Sorry. The rope, whatever. Sorry, my camera's flying. Actually goes up, then cuts off because it doesn't connect here. So that's kind of something I might fix at some point. But in short, he's wearing purple to show he's royal. And yeah, he's the big guy at the top. So that is my Roman army, and well, all the Roman models that I have. I might always expand it, but for now, that's everything. I've got a good body of infantry. I've got a command. I've got praetorians. I've got an emperor. I've got senators. Oh, the most important part I almost forgot is also, well, not the most important part, but a pretty good part is the bases. So you'll notice these kinds of bricky bases that are kind of, what's it called? Marble-like. Not really, but you know, they're okay. So what they are is, I went with Green Stuff World's Roman roller, and then I painted them pure white, covered them in a black wash. Nuln Oil works, but I have an old AK Interactive dipping wash that I just keep diluting and just keep using that. It works. It's a lot cheaper. It was like $18, and it's been running for the last 4 years. But anyway, all of them are different. I painted these things as gold, the outer bit, but then whenever there were words, I did like a red strip and then painted the words in gold. I actually do regret, though. I do have one regret. You can actually, right here's perfect. This guy's standing on an eagle, and my emperor is not, which maybe I might fix that, I don't know. But either way, oh, and the emperor, I actually highlighted the floor to show that he is, I put a bit of extra effort into him because he's, very important. Anyway, I hope you enjoy that. I hope maybe, hey, if this helps you, makes you decide you want to buy some Victrix Romans, great. Always good to see Romans getting some love. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please like and subscribe, comment if you have any ideas of what you want to see, or any improvements you might have. And yeah, have a good day.